Heck-Yahweh, a treatise on religions of hijacked emotion, moral elevation cults shown through adrenaline cults pseudepigraphal. Chapter 1. As the king returned victorious to his kingdom, he declared, "This very evening we will have a great celebration of our victory over our enemies and a celebration to our God, who freed us and gave us strength, and saved the life of your king. For behold, as the battle was raging on for many hours, I had grown weak from blood loss, and as I could scarcely find the strength to lift my sword, a foe came towards me with his sword raised. As I saw this man coming to take my life, I was filled with a power I had never before felt. I could no longer feel my wounds. My weakness had gone and I had a strength renewed that I have never experienced. Our God gave me the strength of many men. As the foe advanced, I met him with exceedingly great strength as to fully overcome him and strike him to the earth. Shortly thereafter I felt this great power from our God leave me, and I again became weak, that I fell to the ground. I, in that moment, swore with an oath that I and my kingdom would praise and worship our great God who gave me strength, our great God Heck-Yahweh." Chapter 2. And so the celebration commenced. Many prayed aloud in the streets to Heck-Yahweh, and many others sacrificed sheep and poured wine upon the altar that had been erected and dedicated to Heck-Yahweh. And behold, that night the king dreamed a dream, or should I say he had a vision, wherein he was shown a childhood memory he had forgotten, wherein he had taken of a strong vine, and began to climb down a tall cliff after some honey. When he had slipped and began to fall, and it came to pass that as he began to fall his heart beat quickened and he felt his strength multiply, and therefore he caught hold of the vine and climbed back up the cliff with great strength. At the conclusion of his vision he heard a voice as if from heaven say, "My son, I have been with thee these many years, and thou hast not known me. I have loved thee and granted thee my strength by and by, and now I have chosen thee and this people to be my covenant people and choice above all other people, if thou wilt teach this people to serve and worship me." That next morning the king rose straightway and called together his kingdom and recited all that he had seen and heard. And so it was said throughout the kingdom that our king converses with God. Chapter 3. As many years have came to pass, many churches were built up to the great God Heck-Yahweh, and within these churches they sought, once again, to feel the strength given to men from God, for they knew, as had been written in their holy scriptures, that if they would seek they would find. So in many of these churches they would construct great towers, and at the top thereof they would attach vines with which they would jump and catch themselves just before hitting the ground, thereby feeling the rush of strength and power that comes from Heck-Yahweh, for they also knew, as was written in the holy book, that the fruits of the spirit of Heck-Yahweh was happiness, unity, excitement, energy, and strength beyond measure. Against such there is no law. And it was this spirit they felt in their worshipping within their great sanctuaries. As the kingdom did grow in strength and power, the people continued to worship their God, and teach their children of him, for they knew that if they would train up a child in how he should go, that when he is old he will not depart from it. They would say to their children, "Come, my child, and feel of the power of the Lord and his strength. Jump from the tower and feel the emotion that Heck-Yahweh will place within you." And as the children would jump and live, the parents would ask, "Did you feel it? Did you feel that powerful feeling of strength? Did you feel your heart beat quickly?" "Yes, my child, that is our God, telling you he lives and has accepted you into his covenant. Enter thou into his rest." And in some of the churches they would baptize their people by having them jump from great cliffs into the waters below, and many testified of the great rush of emotion that Heck-Yahweh would send into their breasts as they would leap into the air and enter the waters of baptism, coming forth with great rejoicing. Chapter 4. Now as many years came to pass, the rituals gained in beauty and complexity, and it was found that great drums, songs, and recited stories of heroic bravery did help the people feel the powerful feelings of Heck-Yahweh, and many were converted even from other lands. But it came to pass that a man named Salviati, due to wickedness, began to say, "This is not a real God, for there is no God of strength for man." But the people scorned his wickedness, and said, "How is it that you could become so hard-hearted as to reject the God who has saved your fathers and has granted you his strength? For I was there when you told me you had felt his power within you, and now you reject his love and favor. You shall forever be condemned from his presence in this life and in the life to come, except ye repent of the things thou hast said. For only a fool hath said within his heart that there is no God. Behold, even thou hast witnessed great miracles done by Heck-Yahweh, for behold, not many years ago, when the king's daughter was walking with her young son, and a great tree fell upon him, and she was filled with the power of Heck-Yahweh, and was able to lift this tree off her son, and this tree was many times too heavy for her to lift, even too heavy for several men to lift, but yet Heck-Yahweh did grant her strength, and she did lift the tree. And what other great miracles must you deny to say there is no God? For, is it not written that, if any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine of Heck-Yahweh, whether it be of God or of man? Have ye never done his will? How is it that ye are so soon shaken and your testimony so weak? Many esteem thee a wise man, so how is it that ye can forsake your eternal soul? for ye are learned and think ye are wise, and have fallen to the cunning plan of the evil one. But as for me, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Heck-Yahweh, for it is the power of God unto salvation in his kingdom. Yea, and behold, we know these things are true, for is it not written that Heck-Yahweh will send his Spirit, and it shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever he hast said unto you? And many of us have even had God speak directly with us as he has to our great King. For we know that if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Behold, we all know that our great God Heck-Yahweh speaks to us. Behold, it does not come like the voice of God, but like our own voice within our head, and surely this is him speaking to us. But you say it is just our own thoughts, within our heads, but behold, what proof do ye have? Behold, I have all the words of the kings and holy prophets of Heck-Yahweh as proof. Ye have also said that the spirit of Heck-Yahweh is just a natural emotion you call adrenaline. Behold, we know there is a God, because the Holy Book tells us that there is a God. Yea, and behold, it also teaches us that the emotion we have felt is the spirit of Heck-Yahweh, and that this feeling is God testifying to us that he lives, and that it is not just a natural emotion you call adrenaline. Behold, we now know from the Holy Book that the Spirit is testifying of the truth of the Holy Book. And behold, ye say that it is not acceptable for a book to hijack a natural emotion and use it as proof that the same book is true. You call this circular logic, but behold, we know this is the devil speaking within you, for our book is holy. And it has brought a great many peace and happiness in their lives, and behold, the Holy Book is telling us that Heck-Yahweh is a true and living God. Behold, how much more plain and simple can our God be for man to believe. Behold, ye have all these things, even the very stars of the heavens and the planets in their orderly courses do testify that Heck-Yahweh lives, and will ye yet deny him? Rodney A. Cuthbertson Jr., line of dashes.